everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Specifically, the first chapter of this game known as the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. Last time, we had some pretty good stuff happen, but we'll get into that shortly because today is June 6th, 2019, and you are loved. And because it is Pride Month, I want to let everybody know, especially, that I'm proud of you. We are proud of you for the choices that you are making about yourself, because at the end of the day, really, it's just going to be you. You are the only person who can live your best life. So just keep doing what you're doing and know that we got your back. And if you would like, we also have merch that can cover more than just your back, but also your fronts. And yeah, that's about it. It can also cover your water if you want. We have mugs, we have shirts, we got posters, we got all sorts of stuff that if you are interested in supporting us at all, you can go to bit.ly/adventuremerch and check some of that out there. But also, if you are interested in supporting us, we have a Patreon. So I would like to say thank you to all the new patrons that we've gotten this week. It's been really cool to see, because that gets you access to stuff like our after show, Nights in the Courtyard, where we accept answers from the community, as well as each other about our characters and character choices, which I always think is really fun. But as far as me trying to shill stuff, that's pretty much it. So, guys, who are you playing tonight? Let's start with Dingo.
One of us.
Dingo. Sorry. Dingo, who are you playing tonight?
That's okay. I am playing, I'm Dingo, she, her. I am playing Hish Sunguard, the half-orc fighter who uses he, him.
All right. And Kiana, who are you playing?
I am playing Ulman Dark, a human rogue. I am Keanu. We're both he, him.
Excellent. And Cyber.
I am Cyber. I am playing Albus the Calastra Bard. We both use he, him pronouns.
And KyleWithAnN.
Hi everyone, I'm KyleWithAnN. I am playing Jilfa'en, who is a half-elf cleric, and we both use she, her.
And I am the indoor adventurer. I am also a he, him, but most importantly, I shall be your dungeon master for the evening. So, last we left off, you guys had successfully gone into what had been presumed to be a haunted house. It turns out that it was more of a Scooby-Doo style haunted, where there were a band of smugglers that laid beneath the floorboards within a hidden basement within this building. However, you guys managed to not only defeat the bandits, or some of these smugglers that you guys encountered, but you also managed to clear out the actual haunted part of this house, which was a skeletal alchemist, as well as 6 other skelly-mens. You guys were able to quickly defeat them, steal a ham that the bandits were trying to guard and save for later, and ended up leaving the house after completely demolishing a room of what looked to be a kind of important individual. And as you were exiting the house and returning back to the town of Saltmarsh, successful in having settled this issue with the haunting, you could hear that individual actually crying out "motherfucker" from the distance as he came back to his currently smashed room. But you managed to find some pretty good things while you were there. You managed to get your hands on a bag of holding. You managed to get your hands on several spell books. But most importantly, you have the document that allows you to understand how the smugglers actually communicate with each other. You have the shorthand for the language that they used. But you managed to go back to the town of Saltmarsh, successful in your adventure, and called it for the evening. Ulman, you and Albus had a brief conversation before hitting the hay, and we will start off first thing in the morning with all of you. So, I know that Hish, you were planning on going to collect the reward for getting this job taken care of. And Albus, you wanted to talk to Captain Zendros of the Friendly Quartermaster of Ayuz, as they are one of the smartest people within this town.
Right. Before we do that, just mind really quick. Did we get anything that we thought was magical from the place?
Yes, you grabbed what you believed to be a philosopher's stone. This dark red, jewel-like crystal, or crystal-like structure that was in the pocket of the acid-throwing wizard.
Okay, because going through my spells, I realize I have Identify, which I can cast as a ritual as a bard. I would like to do that on just anything we have.
Okay, so on this item, as it comes up, you know that your bag, being a bag of holding, is magical. But any of
It is a bag of holding?
It is a bag of holding.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not the bad one.
No, it has a smiling face and not the kind of like face that a Tamagotchi has when you haven't cleaned it up for a while. You end up getting... I went to the wrong part of this book. But you see that this is a luck stone. It is not an actual philosopher's stone. But there's something not right about this one. It seems like it actually carries with it a curse. And you would know that if you attune to this item, you can give yourself advantage on one ability check of your choice until the next dawn. The ability can't be used until the next dawn. But the curse is that as long as you remain cursed, you can't discard the stone, and it'll teleport back into your pocket. But after you use the stone's ability, the next 2 ability checks that you make are with disadvantage. So you can have a very quick, very easy advantage right now, but then the next 2 things that you would do would be at a negative.
Okay. But I thought it was a philosopher's stone.
Yes.
Okay. What about all the like gold stuff? Is that like real gold?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is actually real gold.
Okay, did we get anything else?
I don't believe that you did, other than just picking up bits of gold, spell books. Yeah.
Okay.
You grabbed a lot of books.
Okay. Yeah. Guess we'll all meet downstairs so we can figure out what we're doing.
All right. So, Ulman, you and Albus make your way downstairs. Jill, you had agreed to meet them in the morning as well as part to collect the bounty. And so we will go over to Hish. So, Hish, you are going to be meeting with Gellin Primewater, who lives in a house along one of the cliff sides of Saltmarsh that overlooks the harbor. And when you go and meet him, you guys go towards more of a secluded room where you know that there aren't going to be any outside ears, as he typically takes those who are part of his smuggling crew kind of away from the general street sides. And when and this man is a human male. He looks very regal. You can see that he has a white mustache and kind of a more pointed beard. Wears a hat that has a feather sticking out of it, and just very well dressed. And you know that this particular kind of dress is more of a ruse for the rest of the township to kind of play him up as this very noble figure, so that way people don't catch on to the fact that he is a pretty renowned smuggler. And so he says, so what did you find?
Well, Gellin, we found weasels, we found smugglers, we found a bunch of skeletons walking around doing things skeletons should not do.
Well, anything other than exist inside of one's person or stay politely buried in the ground is what skeletons should do. So anything other than that, I agree. Not what should be happening.
Yep.
But
one was throwing little pots of acid. That wasn't cool.
that's just rude. That's a very rude thing to do. Now, when you say smugglers, were they did you halt the operations in its entirety?
If by halt you mean ending their lives.
That's a halt. That's a pretty hard stop for them, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty immediate hard stop. I think there was a couple that were still left behind, but I think we took out most of the organization. I could be wrong.
Well, that house is said to have been haunted for quite some time, and they were running a smuggling operation underneath our nose.
Well, I mean, it technically, I guess, was haunted by skeletons. So it's hard to tell when they started their operation. Looking back, I probably should have looked into that a little more.
Now, I have a question for you. More of a proposition, really.
What's that?
What do you think we should do about this? You've been with me for a while, Hish. I figured I'd get your ideas on this.
I'm not really much of an ideas man, Gellin. I'm more of the backup plan. But I don't know, if it were me, I'd say it's fairly obvious to just... I mean, if they were running this under our nose, then they're not particularly, I wouldn't say well established. So I imagine it'd be pretty easy to just swoop in, take over what they were doing.
My thoughts exactly. Now, we do get a decent bit of a market of people coming into this town looking for a haunted house. With the right people, a couple of illusionists, maybe this house could stay haunted, and we could use it.
See, the problem is, if the house stays haunted, then you're gonna get curious adventurers, such as myself and my compatriots, coming in, stealing your ham, and fucking shit up.
You stole their ham?
That's
ruthless.
I
applaud.
Thank you. It was. They made it very easy, so it's not like it was a tall task.
Well,
but delicious nonetheless.
If that is the case, I can tell the council about the smugglers. These
I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would tell them that it's been cleared out, get our commission from that, let them auction it off, buy it for cheap in the auction.
That's fair. I thought you said you weren't an ideas man.
Very occasionally, I just have these blasts of inspiration.
Well.
But, I'm just a normal guy, so it's only very occasionally.
Well, if we're going to stop them, if they're going to be stopped in general, they're going to have two fronts, so we'll need to go after them on two fronts. Because there's the people on the boat that they're smuggling with, as well as, well, leftover smugglers. Now, to verify, I can take some of the town's guard and go in. We'll know right where they are, and we'll stop them post-haste. But I would need you to take care of the boat. Do you think you would be able to do that?
I need you to be a little more specific about what you mean about taking care of the boat.
Well, it's outside of the city limits, and they're ne'er-do-wells, so however you would like to take care of the crew is entirely up to you. But if this all played out, you could have a ship of your own.
It doesn't sound like a half bad idea.
So, if this is the case, perhaps there'll be a little bit more money in it for you as well. Sweeten the deal with your... Did you have anybody help you going up to take care of the house? Well, maybe you could convince them again.
Hish pauses before answering whether he had help, and then remembers that he had already said his compatriots and goes, yes, I did have a few people interested.
Well, perhaps you could form yourself a little crew then.
Yeah, I think I could. We work fairly well together. Now, about the money for clearing out the haunted house.
I can pay you, and I'll let the rest of the council know what's happened. That way, they'll just front me the money when I go in and clear it out later. But you've already given me enough information to know that we can take care of the rest of the problem inside the house.
Perfect. I believe the price was
200
250?
gold.
200, that's what it was.
Was indeed. And he will pull out a sack of gold and hand it to you. And it's pretty hefty too.
Yeah, he takes it and he puts it in his bag. Perfect. Now about tracking down that ship.
Well, at this point, it's just a matter of waiting.
Waiting for it to come into port. I don't know if I'd rather take care of the crew while it's in port.
Well, if you want to hit them exactly when they're doing a transfer. Otherwise, well, you could always see yourself back to that haunted house. Take care of whoever's there yourself. Then just wait. And then we could just lure some of the members of the ship back into the house. Take care of them there. And then, if you did board that ship, there would be significantly less people on it, I'm sure.
I do like that plan. Sounds pretty solid. I'll pose it to the others.
Excellent. Well, come back and let me know what the plan is when you're done. But until then, smooth sailing.
Thank you.
All right.
And he gives a little nod and turns on his heel and walks out briskly.
Alrighty.
Saunters out.
You gotta have that suave saunter as you walk. Especially, you just got paid. It's gonna be a good day.
Yep.
So yeah, you make your way to the snapping line where you know that your compatriots are. And the three of you that have been waiting in the snapping line, your breakfast is very fish flavored indeed. There's not very much freshwater fish in terms of local eating. It seems much more like crab, lobster, other kind of sea foody kind of things. There's also potatoes. There is some ground up beef, but for the most part, you're pretty sure this might even just be ground up fish that they've put inside of like a sausage casing to kind of save on some money. But yeah, Hish ends up making his way through the door of the snapping line as you guys are all enjoying your breakfast.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, friend!
Ow.
Yeah, Hish puts his hand on Albus's shoulder and gives it a little squeeze. Good morning. And
How'd
what
it
a
go?
wonderful morning it is. We got paid.
Thank goodness.
He pulls the gold out of his the satchel out of his bag and sets it on the table. It was actually a little bit more than I had remembered. It was actually 200 instead of 100. So we all get a little bit more if we are all comfortable splitting it evenly 4 ways.
That's great news.
That sounds
More
reasonable.
money's always better.
All right. And Hish divvies it up
All right.
And then sits down.
Yeah, so you guys each get 50 gold.
How do I put gold in my inventory? I don't know.
So if you go to the equipment tab on the right, on the very top, you should see a little bit of currency. If you click on that, you should be able to add.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So is that it? We got paid, and we just. Well, I mean, I suppose we need to go to the shop that I totally remember the name of.
The faithful quartermaster something. The important part is the faithful quartermaster. You'll find it just based off of that alone.
Right. Right, and I can sell this stuff, and if all of you would like spoils from that, then I'm sure that would be fine.
I mean, I won't say no to spoils.
That sounds agreeable.
So actually, I'm a little bit disappointed. I figured this was a philosopher's stone, something that would be able to make more gold. Doesn't appear to be. It's just a facsimile. That's a parlor trick. But I may still be able to sell it.
Can I insight check that?
Sure. Roll an insight check.
It's a 12 plus 4, 16.
He is hurting too much to lie. He just seems tired.
Okay. Well, that's disappointing. I figured an alchemist would have a philosopher's stone.
Yeah, it seemed. I mean, all of the evidence in the room seems to suggest that. I mean, all the gold things, like the pull out the skull. This book. Looking at the philosophy stone book.
I mean, it could be like. Oh, go ahead.
Depending how long the smugglers were there, perhaps they found it first and already sold it for whatever it's worth.
Maybe. I don't know, they kind of figured they would get rid of the skeletons first.
I think the most likely scenario is that, like most things, like most people in this town, the alchemist was simply pretending to be something he wasn't.
Probably best guess.
Speaking of, there might be a little bit more to this job than we originally thought. But it all kind of depends on how you feel about smuggling.
I'm pretty indifferent to the entire establishment.
I figured you would be, just based off of looks. I'm sorry. I know that's just judgment, but
No, that's a fair assessment.
Jill, Ulman, any thoughts?
Ulman doesn't look up from his sketchbook, but mentions us smuggling?
No. We wouldn't be doing the smuggling ourselves. Just helping out an organization. If you'd rather not know the details, I don't have to tell them.
Is it above the bar? Well, based off of how you're saying this, I'm assuming this is more of an illegitimate thing.
I mean, yes and no.
Will we be making people happy if we do
Yes.
this smuggling operation?
Well, okay, here's the thing. We're only getting rid of one smuggling operation,
Okay.
but we
Do
would
you-
be making a different one very happy.
Perhaps one that you might be familiar with?
I mean, I'm not associated with any smuggling rings. I'm simply an independent contractor.
Insight
Yeah,
check.
it's like that.
That was so beautiful. Oh my god.
Ulman looks up from his sketchbook and squints at you for like half a second and then looks back down.
23.
13.
All right, what does Albus get out of this? What do Albus and Ulman get at this first? unless they all beat your deception check.
Oh, I forgot to roll it. That's a nat 20. What?
So, what read did they get out of this, Hish? What are they getting out of you?
I think they're getting that, Hish is just kind of a mercenary type, just kind of independent, does what he wants, doesn't really get involved. Has never really gotten involved ever. This has always been this way since the beginning of time.
Okay, what did you actually get with the modifier and everything?
21.
21?
Yeah, because I just have a +1 in deception, but I rolled a natural 20.
I'm gonna say nat 20 is just like, I always am fine with nat 20s
That's
being
fair.
insta wins on that. But like,
I will give to Joe because I will do this because you technically got higher than me and I'm chill with that. You suspect that this was not always the case.
And how would we go about messing up this smuggling operation?
I mean, we did most of the legwork, honestly. It would just be a matter of taking care of the other side of the operation. My contact can finish up all the work we did in the house, and then we just take care of the boat. And in the end,
The boat.
yes, there's boats here.
How will we be able to find this particular boat?
Well, we can either wait for it to come in and make its usual stop, or we can try to find it on its way in.
Are they still going to be able to make? Are they still going to go to the usual spot whenever we, murdered most of the people in there?
I mean, assuming that someone hasn't already alerted them otherwise, I can't see why they wouldn't make their usual stop or at least check in to see what happened.
Well, if I do remember correctly, there was one that ran away.
That fucker. Well,
The one we heard as we were coming back.
he sounded more surprised.
True. I don't think we'll see the one who ran away again, honestly.
Do you think these people would be ones to seek out revenge for someone who interrupted their operation?
I don't think they're big enough to. I don't know for sure, but just from what I understand of the smuggling circuit, most of the big names didn't even know they were there, so I assume their operation wasn't fleshed out enough to really have enough bodies to be able to strike back. Either they're going to abandon ship and move on, or
Even against 4 independent operators?
maybe not on the boat, but the ones in the house.
So if we wanted to make sure that the job was completely done, simply maybe spread some rumors that we were the people who actually interrupted the operation and they would seek to kill us.
But
then we
I
simply kill
don't
them.
like people coming to kill me.
But it's so much easier when they come to you.
Yes.
Yeah, you'd attract more flies with a dead body than vinegar.
I would prefer not to have my name attached to something like that.
It was just a thought.
Well, all right. How about this? We can go back and wait for them to make their usual stop. If they've already caught wind of it and they don't make their usual stop, then we'll put our names out there minus Jill's and attract them to us. And hopefully, by the end of all of this, we will have a lot more money and maybe a ship.
That would be nice.
I don't know if that's somewhat of an ambition of yours, but that seems pretty peachy to me.
Honestly, I have no idea what my ambitions are at the moment.
I've never been on a ship, but they sure sound nice.
You've never been on a ship?
No. I've lived on land my whole life.
And Hish, as you look at Ulman, he's wearing like the perfect kind of gear for standing on the prow of a ship, looking heroic.
It's just that you seem so like you would. You look good on a ship is what I'm trying to say. You have the. Well, what I'm trying to say is that you have the right aesthetic. That's what I meant.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, this does sound like a good time. Do you perhaps know how much coin is involved? Because while this has been exciting, of course, such adventures keep me from doing my actual job, which also pays pretty well. So, it's really gotta weigh the benefits against the cost.
Understandable. Now, I don't have a exact number at all. I don't even have a vague number.
Okay. Well,
Jill, I will give you half of whatever money I make from selling all of the things that we found in the house, if you stay with us until the shop is done. I don't know how much that is.
that is an interesting proposal.
I think I also owe you for no ghosts, so I slide over the 50 gold.
Are you sure?
Albus pays for most of my meals since I'm his bodyguard, so I don't really have much use for it.
Well, I suppose. And she'll just casually scoop it up and just be like, your proposal does interest me, Albus. I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I could stick around.
Albus just smiles.
Ship were you working out of, Jill? Just out of curiosity.
That's a good question.
Yes, it is. There's a table in the back of the book for this, so let's just say
The ship generator on D&D Beyond.
I've worked for a number of ships. I'm trying to remember this one I'm with currently.
The Silver Salmon!
You know what? Sure. We'll say it was the Silvered Salmon.
The Silver Salmon, maybe? I don't know. I try not to stay on one ship for too long.
I mean, that's fair. There are a lot of ships. I don't know what I expected to recognize it because there's so many, but
It's fine enough ship. The captain pays well.
But do you have exciting adventures full of weasels and skeletons?
No, I mainly just stand on the ship's deck and look nice.
That
seems
sounds
like a
very
important
boring.
job.
It's, well, when you worship the deity I do, you have a certain reputation, and captains like people with those reputations upon their ship. So,
Yes, they do.
oh, yeah.
So you're a person with a cloth?
Oh, of sorts.
Of sorts.
Of sorts, yes.
All right.
Well, that's enough about me. Anyway, shall we go?
No, I mean, I'd be really interested to hear more about what you do.
Mm,
You're a very important standing around job.
well, in exchange for gold, I provide blessings.
Protection.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
Protection.
Yes, in a sense.
Oh, so you're a bodyguard like me.
More of intermediary.
Between the ship and what?
The sea, of course. It is a terrible, awful, dangerous place. And as such, with the blessings I provide, I try to make it a little more safe.
Just silence. Moments of silence.
Answer your questions.
I believe it raises a few more, but none that I in particular want to get into right now.
Neither do I. So, shopping excursion.
Yes.
It'd be lovely.
Let's go to the something quartermaster.
The faithful quartermaster.
More faith. Lovely.
Yeah. All right.
Ulman like leafs through his sketchbook real quick. It's all sketches of Albus looking like he has a headache. Like all drawn from face on.
How good of an artist is Ulman?
What?
Somewhere between a like
What's your performance check? What is your performance?
+4?
+4? So he's pretty good, because a passive performance for this artistry, like a regular thing, would be a 14, which, not bad. He's using some proper shading. His lighting's really good.
He really nailed the pained expression.
Like the expanded veins, the just like wrinkles that are formed by his worry lines. Like, this is a journey of one man's pain.
No. Nice.
Alrighty. So you guys are heading to the Faithful Quartermaster. Are you going as a group, or Hish, do you have anything else that you would like to do during shopping part?
No, I think Hish will tag along.
All right, cool. So you managed to take them to the Faithful Quartermasters, no problem. And when you get there, you can see that it looks like a much larger shop than some of the other magic shops that you've been to, whereas you've seen magic shops be ranging from anywhere from small red tents to kind of a decent sized looking building. This looks more like a general store. And when you go in, you can see that there are just aisles of adventuring gear, fishing gear, pretty much anything that you could need. And then in the back, you see that there is a glass countertop that kind of stretches along the back wall of the building. And there is a red-skinned tiefling woman She's a little bit shorter. She's a little bit more full-bodied. And she is currently, she has golden eyes, and her horns curl back almost like a ram's horns along the side of her head. Dark black hair, and she's wearing kind of greener, like a greener leather fabric over her clothes. And she's just sort of leaning on the glass and sees the four of you and just, "Oh, Hish, it's good to see you again."
Can you remind me of her name?
Her name is, she goes by Captain Zendros.
Captain Zendros. Okay. Captain, you're looking well.
Thank you, thank you. Who are your new friends?
Hello, Captain. My name is Albus. I'm here to possibly see if you'd be interested in a few things of mine.
Well, that depends. What are you selling? Or what are you trying to get off your hands?
And I will take out all the things that I had, the golden rose, the golden skull, the gold alchemical weights, and the other alchemical weight. 6 golden rib bones, the luck stone / philosopher's stone, the philosopher's stone's to your book. Well, no, I'll keep the philosopher's stone book. I'll keep all the books.
Okay, sounds good. So as you put out the gold skull, the gold flower, and all of these other golden pieces of skeletons and other things that you found, she looks at it and starts counting and just, "I'm going to need an abacus for this. If just a moment." And she'll go into the back, come grab a small abacus in her hand. And then she is going to kind of begin tallying things up as she looks. And she says, "Well, is there anything that you need? Any items, any potions, anything like that?"
I have nothing that I can think of personally, but perhaps one of my companions may.
So I can get you whatever you need, really, for the right fee. You see, we have connections all over the lands, from Water's Deep to Boulder's Gate to the trade princes of Arm. It's pretty good business here at the Faithful Quartermaster. So I would just let you all know, if there is anything that I can get for you, simply say the name, we'll settle on a price. And then in a few weeks' time, it'll be in your hands.
I'm interested in perhaps acquiring some slightly stronger armor, if you're able to do such a thing.
Well, that depends. Do you have such the coin?
How much does studded leather go for?
Oh, studded leather. And she pauses from tallying up on her abacus and looks through and says, "Studded leather really isn't all that difficult to come by these days. That would be, we'd call it 45 gold.
Sounds fair. And I'll pay the 45 gold.
Okay. So there's that.
Albus, if we have more work to do, perhaps we should pick up some healing potions?
Do you happen to have any healing potions on hand?
Oh, of course. We have about 8 in stock right now. So if you're looking to pick any up, we can either tally it all off at the very end, and we can just count the difference between whatever you've handed me here, and the potions.
Of course.
So, it looks like what we have is 30 gold pieces for the bones, 15 gold pieces for the apple, the rose, and the small set of discs, and she looks at the skull. This is a solid gold skull. 20 gold pieces. So, that would be a total of 65 gold pieces for all of these golden objects, if that is agreeable to the lot of you. Now, for the other item, you'll have to give me about 10 minutes while I look at that one if you want to have a look around. Just to make sure everything's on the up and up with this.
Yes, I was led to believe that this was a philosopher's stone, one that created these gold objects, but that was incorrect. This appears to be a luck stone with a nasty curse on it.
Nasty curses. Well, I either charge a lot more or a lot less, depending on if I'm buying or selling the item, depending on what the curse is. So, if it's a good curse, like you're cursed that every time you go anywhere, people throw themselves at you because they love you so much, to the right buyer, could be more. But if it's something not as bad, like everything you touch turns to gold, buy it for a bit lower. It's a little dangerous.
More like you can give yourself some good luck and then receive some bad luck in turn.
Well, it seems pretty balanced. How does 250?
That seems agreeable.
Excellent, then. So, all in total, you'll be receiving 315 gold pieces. How many of the potions would you like to buy? You seem to have come into quite a lot of money very fast.
Said 350?
315.
315. Can we take 5 healing potions?
Of course.
That'd be 250?
Yep. So you'll still have 65 left over.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody else need anything? Some snacks?
We do sell rations here.
Any ham?
Do you have any ham?
One that isn't tainted with the fish smell that permeates through here.
And she pauses and just... Oh, you've been staying at the snapping line. I'm so sorry.
I thought it was quite agreeable.
Me too.
What is wrong with you?
Everything
A
in
lot.
this town.
I live here and I don't like it.
It's just... Maybe if they just had somebody who knew that prestidigitation magic, but even then, I'm pretty sure they would try and it would just come right back. Anyways, you were saying...
5 healing potions?
Yes.
And possibly some ham.
How much ham are you looking to buy? Are we looking for quantity or quality?
Quality.
She just sort of nods and says, I'll see what I can do. And so you actually watch her then again disappear into the back. Leaving your items in front of you. She hasn't taken them. And then after some time, she comes back. And she has, let's see. Yeah. She has a large, what looks like a leg that's just kind of been wrapped up in a lot of this brown paper with twine. And she says, we got this all the way from Tribor, imported. It was perfectly seasoned by, well, the farmers that lived out there. And I had some of the other pig. This is from my personal stores, but he's delicious. 20 gold pieces and it's yours.
Very well.
Excellent deal. And she sets the large haunch that has been wrapped for you guys onto the table.
Albus the best.
And I believe that brings our total to 45 gold pieces.
Yes, it would. And so she then takes all of the gold things that you guys have given her and items, and then goes over to a small chest that she has behind the counter, pops it open, starts counting out some coins, comes back and hands you each, or hands not you each, but hands you, Albus, 45 gold.
22 gold pieces go to Jill. And 23 go in the back folder.
Excellent.
Zandros, one more thing. And this certainly isn't a right now thing, because it's likely I don't have the money right now for it. But if you could look into... I'm really looking for a better weapon. A dope scimitar. The one I currently have is pretty good.
Do you want it to go like 420 blaze it when you swing it around, or is this more
Yes,
of okay?
I would love it to 420 blaze it and just rip sheets of cotton every time I swing it.
We can make this happen. It would take me a couple of weeks to get it, so you would have some time. But if you were interested, it is 50 gold per week for me to procure this item. But once I have it, it would be here.
And once you have it,
Okay.
could you give me an estimate of how much that item would cost?
It would cost roughly, I believe, let me, oh dear, things started falling. That was scary. It would cost roughly 1,000 gold.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Oh, sorry. Is the wrong one. What you would be looking for is 2,500 gold. Little bit bigger of a price point, I understand. But, I mean, think about it. You could tailor its command word to whatever you wanted.
That is extremely appealing. Perhaps, to bring down the price a little bit, if there's any jobs you need done along the way, I could take care of some things for you.
We could possibly work out something. But again, I will have to go out and get it. So if you want to make the payment now for me to start procuring this thing, it's 50 gold pieces. But otherwise, come to me when you have all of the money and we can establish a different kind of deal. Or I'll think of something that you can make a little bit of money.
Well, you keep thinking, and I will give you the 50 gold for now. And when the jobs come up, you just contact old Hish.
I'll be sure to reach out. And she'll take your 50 gold pieces, set it into the chest that she has with her other gold pieces, and then gives Albus and Ulman the potions that she had for you guys as well. I don't think that I had said that she gave them to you yet.
Okay, everybody take a potion of healing.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Also, did she have the armor, or did she say
she
was
had
going
it.
to...
No, she
Okay,
had it for
cool.
you. Yeah, it seemed like any kind of mundane, basic gear she has in excess, but when it comes to more of a specialty thing, it's going to be a little bit harder of a find.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so do you guys need anything more from the captain? You have your ham, you have your potions, you have armor, and you have the promise of a really sweet sword.
Our 20 gold ham.
That better be some fucking good ham.
Albus has. So you would probably get this just by the fact that he was just like going, "Yep, that sounds good. That sounds good." He has no concept of money.
Oh my god, Albus!
He has no concept of money.
I as the group accountant.
Albus, are you rich as fuck? That you don't have any concept of money?
I believe I have 51 gold pieces and 65 pieces in the bag of holding. Does that constitute rich?
Well, I wouldn't say it constitutes rich as fuck, but I mean, it's certainly better than nothing.
My thoughts exactly.
Yep. All right. I think that's all we came here for.
Yes. All right, so what are you guys doing now? You have talked to Captain Zendros. You have discussed what to do about the ship coming in. Possibly, are you going to... So what's the plan? What is your game plan right now?
Boat?
Yeah, I believe our plan was to wait for the boat to come into where it's supposed to go, and then all aboard.
All right. So, Hish, you would know that for a kind of smuggling operation, like you're pretty sure that they are working out of the house, that their ship never actually comes into dock. It actually stays pretty far out off of the coast, and then you would just have to wait for that ship to kind of just be there, and then secure a passage on a smaller boat to make your way out. You aren't really sure when this boat is going to actually appear, so you guys have some time ahead of you. There's going to be a passage of a couple of days. So what would you guys like to do during your extended downtime? What does your guys' average day look like?
Albus would like to go around town asking just about like if there's anybody who's learned, anybody with a larger library that he would possibly be able to make friends with.
Okay. Roll an investigation check.
13.
Okay. Yeah, so you would know that the family that has one of the largest libraries is actually a dwarven woman who has imported a lot of these books into town. You also know that there is a mage who lives in town, although he's kind of a nut. Nobody really wants to talk to him for the most part, but overall he seems like kind of a nicer guy.
I want to talk to him.
Okay. So he is his name is Keldek the Unspoken, and he came to town. He'll explain to you that he came to town years ago, and the place where he left, there was a little bit of a disagreement in terms of general practices on who you can experiment with magic on and who you can't. And he apparently was doing he wasn't doing things in accordance with the town. So he decided to leave and find a town that has a little bit more of a looser understanding of a general law. He prefers that the space that you guys are in, that you in Saltmarsh, he doesn't want to become part of the Lord's Alliance, because that will allow him to kind of just keep doing what he's been doing. But if Lord's Alliance comes in, they're going to start asking more and more questions about what his current objective is.
Oh, well, that wouldn't be good for anybody now, would it?
No, not at all. He just doesn't seem to want to leave his tower or his area at all, but he seems to have let himself be more open around you, is kind of just being more willing to talk with you the longer that he spends around you.
Okay, and he's doing magical experimentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, would he be interested in spellbooks?
He would. Make a persuasion check.
With advantage because of my psychic glamour?
Yes.
Persuasion, that's going to be a 16.
Okay. So with a 16, he is going to be willing to purchase these spell books from you. Let me see how much they go for in here. But yes, he will be willing to buy them from you. Let's see here. All right, so the first spell book, he is willing to buy, or the spell book of that you guys found in more of the fancy room. He is willing to buy off of you for 500 gold pieces.
Very well.
As this had some more advanced spells in it. And then the first spell book that you present with him, he's willing to buy from you for 250 gold pieces.
Enjoy. These are a little different than what I'm normally used to, but I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with the spells in here.
I'm looking forward to it. And this figure stands about 7 feet tall. He's just a very large, imposing figure that has this more kind of wispier voice. And he's and as he takes the books from you, he says, if you ever need anything magical, maybe not items, but you're just curious, feel free to come on by whenever you'd like.
I certainly will.
Do you have a job yet?
I don't. I used to be a teacher, but I don't think I'm quite established here to do that yet.
Would you like to be my steward? Possibly help me out in my lab?
I believe I'm doing some freelance work with some individuals right now, but if that's something that I would be able to like come in and do every now and then.
Yes, whenever you'd like.
That sounds lovely.
Excellent. And you guys will kind of just continue having this nice rapport throughout the week as you kind of just... You don't really even have to help him with his magical experiments. It looks like he just kind of wanted somebody to talk to. And, I mean, he's not bad company.
I keep galaxy braining him whenever he's doing it.
Oh, yeah. No, and he just, like, he doesn't know what's going on.
His mind.
He doesn't know what's going on, but he loves it. He is having a ball whenever you are around. So, Ulman, what are you doing during your downtime? What does your day-to-day in Saltmarsh look like?
Ulman follows Albus around when Albus is heading places, but if Albus isn't doing anything in particular that he needs a bodyguard for, Ulman finds his way up to the top of one of the cliffs and is painting the shipyard.
Okay, there is actually a 100-foot drop from a cliffside down into the sea that a lot of the locals actually use as a jumping rock during the warmer months. Just kind of running off the side of this cliff, jumping into the ocean, and then swimming their way back onto shore. But it does have a very good view over all of Saltmarsh, so you kind of find your perfect spot to just hang out and enjoy painting this nice and lovely town.
Oh, and I snack on lots of ham.
Oh yeah, no, you over the next week, this is your every food. Like, you do not have to worry about eating fish if you don't want to. Just pull out the haunch, go back to it, and it tastes delicious. It actually was like a very delicious, wholesome snack that you bought. All right.
All I need in my life.
Yes. Jill, what are you up to?
I think at some point, she very, begrudgingly, probably, heads to, maybe the shoreline, around, high tide to, basically do some, maintenance and some upkeep with her deity. So it probably involves, her, maybe like taking off her shoes and kind of like wading out into the water and saying like a quick prayer, going just through some ritualistic stuff.
Okay.
Just because she hasn't done that in a while and probably should.
Okay, so it is on like the third day of you doing this, of just kind of like reconnecting, that you start realizing that you are getting looks from people as you are doing this. And some of the people giving you looks aren't necessarily in the like, oh, she's doing the reverent thing. That's very nice. But you actually see some people who are giving you more of like a cloudy expression that don't seem to be, they don't seem like they are very fond of what you're doing. Make a religion check as you do. As these individuals all have what looks like a shield-like badge that they wear on their robes that looks like a clouded sky with 3 lightning bolts coming down from it.
15?
So you would know with this 15 that this is Voltan. He is they call him the champion of the waves, and is another one of these water deities. But as a member of Umberlee's clergy, these are your most hated of all foes. Like, in terms of there being another kind of religious sector, your cleric, like your acolyte, your religious organization teaches you that under normal circumstances, if you guys had met each other out at sea, they would be the first ones to go down. Like, they are, without a doubt, most hated of foes. And being in this town for over a week, you've recognized that theirs is the dominant religion in terms of sea goddess worship. You were like the only cleric of Umberlee who has actually shown up, and right now you are getting a lot of looks by the other Storm Gods followers.
Is this individual like close? Like, how far away are they from
They
me?
are maybe about 150 feet away from where you are. They're currently up along a boardwalk while you're more down in the on the beachhead itself.
Oh, okay. So not within like conversation distance.
No, they just
like,
sort of seem to
yelling
give
at
you
something.
just this like look as they continue about their day.
I think Jill will like look up and notice and kind of like wryly smile and like nod, but nothing beyond that.
Okay. So yeah, you are just going to be continuing your regular Umberlite duties, as well as just waiting to find out more about this. Hish, what are you doing in the meantime?
I think Hish, he spends some of his time looking for odd jobs, get that cash money. I think we see him spend some time at home. We see little flashes of like his home life at his house. He lives with a woman, and there's like a little boy that we see him sort of carrying around on his shoulders or like underneath his arm occasionally. And I think he also spends a day up on the cliff with Ulman. He wants to get in on a little bit of that ham. But I think he's sort of keen on having a conversation with Ulman as he's painting the shipyard.
All right. So let's go into that. So the two of you are up on this cliffside. Hish, you know that this is the jumping point where the locals will often just throw themselves off the side of this cliff. But Ulman, do you have like an easel set up? Or
yeah, full easel. I've got like a little collapsible stool and a like full set of paints.
so you're just Bob Rossing it up on the side of this hill?
Yeah.
Just with this big leg of ham. Awesome. All right, so Hish, you are hanging out with Ulman.
Guys, Hish is sitting kind of on the edge. He's sort of kicking his legs. over the side of the cliff and leaning back, so he's sort of laying in the grass with his arms tucked under his head. And he kind of glances like up at Ulman and says, "Can I ask you kind of a weird question?"
I don't see why not.
I don't know if it's like a personal thing or not, but like while we were in the house, I saw you do something a little strange.
Lots of people do strange things. You're gonna have to be more specific.
I don't even know how to put it, if I'm being honest. It's like your face was not your face for a moment. I thought it was very surreal.
Yeah. That's a thing I've known how to do for a while. I've never really been able to explain it, but I can copy people's faces sometimes. It's not something I can really do at will. It's just kind of in the spur of the moment.
So you're in the business of identity theft?
No, it's never more than a second. It seems like a natural defensive technique that I've never been quite sure where it comes from. You see, I was adopted. I don't actually know my real parents. But whenever I'm in trouble, my face has a tendency to flash into the other person's face, which seems to throw them off for a moment, and usually helps me quite a bit. Lets me get out of the way of whatever's coming at me.
Huh. You know, I have to say that's a first. I've never heard of that one before.
I've never met anybody else who can do it, so...
Interesting. Did your parents ever say where they adopted you from, or?
Not in particular. I was left on the doorstep. I was raised by a baker and his wife.
Oh, classic. That's... Well, I take it by your cheery demeanor that it's not a particularly sensitive topic for you, but I appreciate you being so... Actually, real quick, I just want to insight check all of this. It's a 17 plus, what is my insight? That's plus 4.
Oh shit, so a 21 insight?
Mm-hmm.
That story seems very well rehearsed.
I have a real question for Ulman.
Yeah.
Was this story written by somebody else?
Yes.
Is that person that story is based off of the one that then got regionalized for Hish?
Very likely.
No, that sounds so that whole thing sounds so familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Ulman, I appreciate you being so open all the time. You seem very genuine.
I try to be. I like meeting people and hearing stories, you know?
Right. This is a very nice story that you tell.
Thank you. What about you, Hish? Who is Hish?
I mean, there's not much to say.
Well, what have you spent your week doing? I've been up here all week.
Wait, you've been up here all week?
Well, yeah, I don't really have much else to do besides watch over Albus as his bodyguard, and, well, he's hanging out with that wizard, so I've had a lot of time on my hands.
I've just been painting? Is painting like a hobby of yours, or did you pick that
Yeah.
up kind of early on?
I've always enjoyed the arts. I like trying to capture the world around me, you know?
I mean, you seem really good at it. I just find it interesting. It's just that so much of you is sort of about reflecting. Reflecting the world through your paintings, reflecting other people's images.
I've never really thought about it in that way. I've had a lot of time to reflect in my life, you know? Long, silent nights on the road.
Yeah, I
Not
get that.
everyone who pays you to guard them wants you to talk to them as well, so...
Yeah, I know those types. Reflection can be good. I think more people need to do it.
Yeah. So... I heard a crazy rumor, and Ulman, like, creeps over to the edge of the cliff. People jump from here? That looks terrifying.
Well, I mean, it's really just the first time that seems terrifying. And then after you do it, I don't know, you kind of get addicted to the sensation of free falling.
Hmm.
You want to
And
try it?
He just, like, turns around and falls backwards.
Yeah, I think Hish is taken a little bit by surprise and is delighted, and he sort of bellows out in this laugh. And he'll sort of sit up and push off the cliff and dive down after you.
Okay. Both of you make
Take the coat off first, though. I'm not getting that coat wet.
yeah. Make acrobatic. Hish, you can make a athletics or acrobatics check, but Ulman, because you are falling backwards and doing a tumble off the fucking side of this cliff, make an
It's a
acrobatics
backflip,
check.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it is a
God, I hope it's a
backflip.
beautiful, like, backflip swan dive. I pray for that for Ulman.
Dirty 20.
Yeah. You kind of just like hang, falling back for a little bit, and then your body just tilts. You bring your arms up, and you just sink right into the water.
So that's a 5 plus 7. That's a 12 for Hish.
All right. So Hish, you are going to be taking 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you come into contact with the water below.
That's fine.
But yeah, you definitely have you feel the rush of adrenaline as the two of you have just leaped off of this 100-foot ledge. And that is where we are going to go into our break for the evening. So I would like to say thank you to everybody who has decided to stop by. Thank you to Nerdy Northerners for raiding us, and Saronic2 for the follow, as well as Nerdy Northerners for the follow. You are both great, and I'm excited to be able to get to know you guys if you decide to come around more. Because other ways that you can get to know us is through our Discord. So if you're interested in possibly talking or hanging out with the cast members, you can find us there. Other than that, we are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or go to bit.ly/adventuremerch and pick yourself up something nice. But until then, we will see you guys later. All right, everybody. Bye-bye! And we're back with more Ghosts of Saltmarsh. So we just got done with Hish talking with Ulman, and then the two of them jumped off of a 100-foot cliff into the ocean below. Thankfully, there weren't any dangerous rocks or hazards or much of anything, and you guys were able to just really enjoy the rush of adrenaline heading back down. And the two of you are just sort of like treading water. I'm assuming you're going to be swimming back to shore, going up. Hish, your coat is still at the top of this cliff now. But yeah, you guys are able to get back no problem. Is there anything else that the two of you would like to do besides having just jumped off of this cliff?
Ulman has to wait for his clothes to dry out, but otherwise, it's fine.
Yeah, I think Hish just kind of also dries out and keeps him company up on the cliff. That's about it.
All right. And then during these sets of days, Kylan, you had mentioned over the break that Jilfa'en would like to speak with Albus.
Yeah, I want to find Albus at some point, wherever Albus can be found.
He can
Well,
probably at the
yeah.
snapping line for dinner.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. She'll probably like approach Albus at some point when he's like at the bar and maybe like Ulman or Hish isn't around. And it's just gonna be like, have you been enjoying your time in Saltmarsh so far?
Oh, I think so. Yes. Met some interesting people. Some learned people. But I don't think I quite remember why I'm supposed to be here. I'm
So
sure I'll figure it out eventually.
no closer to your goal then.
I don't believe so. What about you? How have you been enjoying your time?
Well, this is the longest I've been on land in a good while, so it's readjusting. And I don't imagine it'll be too much longer before I finally head out to sea again once this business is all wrapped up.
All right.
You, I'm sorry, you paid for me to stick around.
Yes.
Why?
Because to be honest, I don't. Yes, lady.
There's a dog in the bar as well.
I'm a bit nervous. I don't feel quite as strong, as stable as I think I'm meant to. I feel better having strong people around me.
That's, I guess refreshingly honest answer, I suppose. Most people, I don't think, would care to admit that.
Why ever not?
Well, people don't like being seen as weak, generally. Unless they're trying to get something from someone, which could very well be the case in your case, but...
Oh yes, I'm trying to get you to stick around so that I don't die.
That's... Good. That's, a good answer.
You seem to be motivated by gold. Is that
Not
something that you enjoy?
what?
Gold.
I enjoy stability. I enjoy work.
I've been doing some work over the past week, and yeah, I do think I find it enjoyable.
What have you been doing?
I've been talking with a wizard as he does magical experiments.
Oh, so there is someone learned here. Well, I'm
I wouldn't call
surprised.
him learned, but he seems to be trying out new things, an inquisitive mind.
Well, then I hope it's a satisfying adventure for you.
I think it is.
Well, sometimes the things we do to sustain ourselves aren't always satisfying. Even if they do pay well.
Are you talking about your important standing around job?
Uh, yes, the important standing around job.
You're unsatisfied?
I liked the job I had previously.
And what job was that?
Well, I come from a long line of sailors, and I was particularly talented at sailing compared to my brothers and my father. But now I do this instead.
Your brothers and father, are they still around?
Well, not around here, but yes. They are alive and well.
That's good. I was also quite satisfied in my previous job. I was a teacher.
I thought you didn't remember what you did before.
I was a teacher for 3 years until I remembered that I was supposed to come to Saltmarsh.
What did you teach?
All sorts of things.
Such
What?
as?
Biology. Accounting.
That makes sense.
Things that would help out a village of, well, whalers.
And then all of a sudden one day you had this revelation that you were meant to do something else?
Well, whenever you put it that way, yes.
Well, I've heard of stranger things, so... Well, in any case, I hope that, whatever comes from this revelation of yours, I do hope it's something good. They're not always good.
Are you speaking from experience?
I think that, I think she's gonna, like, finish her drink and just be like, I think I might head off to bed.
Very well. Good night, Jill.
Good night, Albus.
Aw.
Albus! Albus! I had the greatest day today! Jilfa'en, you're here too! I have something for you.
Hello, Ulman. What do you have for me?
Well, you've been in the ocean this whole week while I've been painting, and I don't know anyone else in this painting, so it's yours now!
I think she'll take a look at it and just be like, oh, this is...
He looks like a small child who would want nothing more than for you to take this painting and, like, put it on the fridge.
How much do you want for this?
Want? Nothing. It's yours. It's a gift. You're my friend.
She's gonna look very conflicted. She's gonna be like, well, perhaps I'll take it for now and then owe you something down the road.
Maybe you can show me a ghost sometime.
Well, we'll see.
Albus, I jumped off a cliff today.
Whatever for.
I don't know, but it was exhilarating. I've never felt anything like it. It was so much fun. I don't know if
Okay.
your head could take it. But if we ever figure out how to get rid of your headaches, I bet you'd have a great time too.
I'm sure I would have a great time if I got rid of my headaches too. Sorry, I thought we were playing D&D to escape real life.
Look, that's the hidden tagline of this channel, is what happened to escapism. It doesn't exist here.
Well, that does sound like a lot of fun, Ulman. I'll leave you to it.
Oh, you're leaving so soon, but I just got back.
I'm a little tired. I think I'm gonna retire early for the night, but thank you, truly, for this painting. It's quite lovely.
Of course. I hope you sleep well.
Thank you. And she'll hurry off to bed.
Okay. And Ulman, make a performance check.
16.
All right. This is actually a really well done painting. So yeah, Jill, you now have I would say you now have a piece of art valued at roughly 50 gold pieces.
Nice. Yeah, I think whenever Jill gets to bed, she's gonna like look at it, but it's just gonna be like real conflicted about it. Real conflicted about everything.
That's fair. All right. And Ulman and Albus, do you guys have anything else that you would like to do?
I think when we're back in our room, I mentioned to you. So Hish was hanging out with me today, and they saw me do the thing with my face apparently while we were at the mansion. I gave them the usual story, but I don't know if they bought it. Not that worried about it because I kind of like Hish, but we should keep our eye on that.
Of course.
All right.
Sorry, I'll be right back. My dog is whining.
That's okay. So Hish, you end up getting contacted as you are kind of spending your week, and it is actually Gillen again. I lost the word for a brief moment. Your smuggling contact, and he lets you know that the council is pleased to know that there is that the haunting was taken care of, so everything on that end worked out fine. And since there is going to be this issue with the smuggler's ship, he has let you know that if you return the ship to the harbor, once you guys have kind of taken care of it, that the city will reward you with 400 gold pieces.
Or I could have a ship.
Oh no, like it would be a both kind of situation. If you just bring it to if you bring it to the harbor of the city, ship and money are yours.
Delightful.
So that is what you have to look forward to. And he also lets you know that he has sent some people out to kind of investigate around to see what, if there were any ships that are sailing this way that they haven't heard of, kind of passing through here. And he gives you the name the Sea Ghost as the name of the ship that you are currently trying to get the jump on.
Perfect. Does he mention any kind of like identifying like colors that they're flying, or?
It doesn't seem like they fly any particular colors, mainly because they're trying to keep just a very kind of quiet presence. They mostly do their sailing at night, so colors don't really behoove them too much. But you know that the main crew itself is primarily human, but they have also noticed noted that there are some bugbears that actually work on the ship as well. So it
Alright.
seems like they've kind of aligned themselves with goblinoids.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Which, make a history check.
You got it. It's a natural one.
Yep. That's it. That's all you really remember about this specific setting. So yeah, you are now able to kind of know what is going, like what to look out for specifically, and he lets you know that tomorrow is when the ship is actually going to be sailing in. It's also getting close to the end of the first week with Captain Zendros at this point. But she lets you know that she has located the scimitar and that it is currently on its way. So there's no need to worry about her paying her 50 more gold for this kind of finder's fee. But it is going to be coming here rather shortly, at least in the next week or so. Since we're still waiting for Albus, is there anything else that the three of you guys would like to cover before you find yourselves on the docks getting ready to set out towards the Sea Ghost?
Does Jilfa'en go out to the sea again?
She likes to do so at high tide in the morning.
I think the next morning when you're out there, Ulman is also out there on the beach.
Ulman?
Howdy!
Hello. Didn't expect to see you here, but pleasant surprise.
Well, I've seen you from up on the cliffs all week, so I was actually kind of curious what you were doing down here.
Well, if you excuse me for a moment, I'll just... Well, I guess you can watch, but, I do need to get on this right away.
Yeah, yes, of course. I'm quiet as a stone. He stands there, like, trying to be perfectly still.
Right. And then she kind of goes about a ritual, taking off her armor, taking off her shoes, going out into the water, taking some of the seawater and kind of like anointing herself and just like, it looks kind of like praying. And then she'll, after some time, come back and start, trying to dry herself off. Just, doing my woman of the cloth duties.
You never mentioned what cloth. I don't actually know much about religion. Of course, the main gods, but I've never been a very religious man myself.
That's fair. The deity for which I'm in service to is more of a goddess for sailors. More so.
Well, I feel like I might be a sailor soon, so maybe I should start worshiping her. And with that, he starts taking off his shoes.
I'm going to have to stop you there, Ulman. Only a fool would worship the deity that I am in service to.
But you don't seem like a fool. You seem very smart.
Well, despite smart, sometimes life has different plans for you.
I think when you say that, for just a moment, his face drops, and he looks really sad, and it quickly he grins again and says, "Well, things happen." I doubt that there's people who haven't made mistakes. But hey, if worshiping whoever you do makes you happy, then Who's anybody to tell you that you're wrong?
I don't worship Umberly. I simply pay my respects.
Fair enough.
And Ulman, you
I
can make a religion
salute to the
check.
sea and I say, "Thank you, Umberly."
Make a religion check.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So when Jilfa'en ends up saying that she is a follower of Umberly, you know who this deity is. You have heard about them mostly through tales of swashbuckling and high adventure. But you know that Umberly is a kind of negatively aligned deity. This is not somebody that people typically have festivals throughout the streets calling out in praise, but her name is more spoken in hushed tones or very loudly by sailors caught in the middle of a storm looking for shelter. You would know that with this deity, as Jilfa'en has been very keen to phrase, this is not necessarily about somebody who goes out and actively attempts to worship Umberly. This is more of you are kind of placed with this duty of being the one to hold reverence to the Queen of the Deep.
I think then, rather saluting the sea, he just nods at you and says, "You bear a very heavy weight, and I appreciate your efforts."
She'll just be kind of like taken aback and just be like, well, thank you.
Some of us must.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Also, I'm starving. Have you had breakfast yet?
No, I haven't. I normally do this before breakfast, but I would be happy to accompany you.
I would love your company.
And I'm sure we enjoy a lovely breakfast of expensive ham.
It is the last of your expensive ham. You've been nibbling on this all week, and it is, again, you weren't using it as like a sometimes food. This was the meal plan for the next week. And so you have just kind of been enjoying off of this, and you share the remnants of it with Jilfa'en. And Jilfa'en, it's actually really good. Like, it is very tasty, and most importantly, it is not fish. It is not like people trying to trick you into eating fish. This is pork. This is ham. This is delicious.
Jill relishes. It's just like, this is the first time I have had something that didn't taste of fish or potatoes in such a long time.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. As much as I relish the opportunity to eat a lot of fish, I'm actually not a huge fish fan.
Color me surprised.
Ham's always been up there, but I think you can tell that.
Most certainly. For you and Hish, it seems.
All right.
Much.
So, then on the last night before you guys find yourself on the docks, Albus, you are asleep. You are enjoying a nice respite from all of those terrible headaches that you are continuously plagued by, and you begin to dream. And while you are dreaming, you find yourself standing along the streets of Saltmarsh. And it's very quiet. No one else is around. You can't hear any seagulls. You can't hear anything. And for once, the pressure that you feel in your head is cleared. you just can breathe for a very easy moment. And as you watch the shoreline, you can actually hear, out of anything, the sound of waves. And as you are standing listening to the sound of waves, you hear them get closer and closer. And as you kind of look out, you watch
Dog in the dream.
you watch, yeah, there is a dog in the dream as well. And you watch as the tide begins to rise. And it continues to rise on the dock until it spills over out into the street as the waters of the sea just lap up against your boots as you just stand there, enjoying the sound of the waves, enjoying the breeze that you feel against you, and not caring about any of the pressure that you generally feel in your head. But the water continues to rise, and it gets to about your midsection, and then you begin to feel a current within the water, and it actually begins to pull you out to sea. And you begin to move, just allowing your body to be taken by this current. And as you are being taken, you see these white dolphin-sized creatures that are actually sort of just swimming by you. And they don't seem malicious in their intent at all. And in fact, they seem almost comforting to you. And that is when you hear in your head one of these creatures, and you're pretty sure it is one of these creatures speaking to you, as this is a dream, and, well, I mean, anything could be speaking to you, so why not one of these? And you hear, "You have to go farther out. As far as you can. You're the seeker."
The seeker of what?
The seeker of the spiral. Don't you remember? Soon, brother. Soon we will find it together. And as it says that, you start feeling the waves underneath you begin to bubble up, almost as if there is just this force of current coming from underneath you. And as you look down, you see what look to be tadpoles. But the tadpoles are much larger. They are about 2 inches, and they just seem to be just flailing underneath you, almost creating this almost like a throne for you as you just kind of feel your body get taken out into sea. And as you look up in front of you, you see this large, off in the distance of the ocean, just a portal. And not a magical portal by any means, but you watch as the actual waters themselves begin to churn and roil and turn into a large whirlpool. And that is where you feel yourself being drawn towards. And as you look at it and take a good look at it and rest your head back down, that is when you wake up and the voice says, "See you soon." And that is the last thing that you hear before you wake up.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
Yes. So the rest of your day goes by completely uneventfully. You continue hanging out with your wizard friend. Based off of what Hish has said, that today is the day that the ship is going to be coming in about, again, 4 miles outside of town, nearish where the haunted house is, and that you guys will be setting out. So chances are the wizard isn't going to be having his mind-expanding ideas as he's had before, considering you kind of need to save those. But you guys do find yourself at night on the docks. Gillen has provided 2 crewmen with you to kind of operate this small fishing boat. It is a dwarven man who has a hook hand, who calls himself Bronzebeard. and there is a human man who calls himself Dave. He is just a very simple dock worker, but he is loyal to Gillen. And the two of them are going to actually be rowing you out to the ship itself. And as you guys are getting in, it is the dwarf that says, "So which side are we going on? How are we approaching?" And looking off in the distance, you see the house on this hill has a light that comes from it in a I believe it was short, long, and short. Or sorry, it would not be that one. You see that there is the ship outside, or at least a light coming from this ship. And it is... Why is this so hard for me to find? The ship is making a long flash of light followed by 3 short ones, asking, "Is it safe?" But you do not see a response coming from the house yet. And the dwarf asks, "Which side are we going on?"
Can I see anything of the ship's going-ons from where we are? Or just the light?
You can only see the light at this current moment. It is dark out, so unless you have dark vision, you are kind of going to be going in blind on this.
Okay. Would I know from my knowledge of ships and being on them what side would be ideal?
You would know that you are going to want to go on the port side, as the starboard side is actually going to be facing the haunted house. So based on your smuggling knowledge, you always want to be looking at the area where you are going to be getting this exchange of goods. But if you were to go around the outer rim of this ship and possibly go at it from the starboard side, that nobody would really, they might not expect you.
Okay, so going at it from the port side, we would...
Port side is where people would be looking. You can see...
Oh, okay, so
where,
we want to go the starboard side.
Yeah, you want to go around the ship to kind of make sure that any of the lights that they're flashing then don't have, at this point, 6 silhouettes that wouldn't necessarily, aren't supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hish leans forward and says, "Head up the starboard side and avoid the lights."
And both Dave and Bronzebeard nod, and then they begin to row. And you guys are going to be on this ship for about an hour before you actually make it around the side. I'd like for everybody to make a stealth check.
Frick.
16.
Also a 16.
Can I get a 21?
What'd you get?
That's a natural 1.
Okay.
Oh!
Luckily, this is a group check, so you did manage to get 3 successes. So, Jill, even though it is night, you're a half-elf. You have dark vision, kind of looking out. So it's one of those, like, you think you're being quiet, but it's really a stage whisper of letting your friends know of how many individuals that you currently see on this ship. And from where you're standing, what you can see is that there are about 7 of these pirate-looking individuals. You can see that there is a kind of balding man where most of his hair is gone, but he just has a few spots in the back that he just hasn't taken care of. And then you can see that there are several of these smaller, just kind of regular-looking smugglers that are kind of milling about, making sure that things are transferred between the two. Between the ship that they are on, as well as the cove that they seem to be rowing their boats to.
You know, if you guys want, I can cast a spell that can make things a little foggy. Might help with the element of surprise.
First off, I'm going to mind link with Jill. Would would that make a? Would you be able to see through it? Is that going to make us? Is that going to impede our own progress? You can respond telepathically, by the way.
Okay.
Just think real hard about it.
Yes, but it could be more of I cast it as we start to try and board the ship. They're confused. I drop it as soon as we get on the ship.
Would that use up a lot of your mental efforts? Would
Some, but
those cognitive resources be better used elsewhere? Perhaps if things get a little worse for wear on the boat.
That's fair. However I can help.
Hish and Ulman just see Jill and Albus staring intently at each other.
She's just like,
Ulman leans over to Hish and is like, "Don't worry, this is normal. He has a mind thing he does. It's kind of weird."
right. Mind thingy. Got it.
No, he's being absolutely true, and I'll mind link with Hish.
Oh, okay. Yes.
It's just something that it's a talent that I have that helps us be a little bit more quiet.
My brain feels a little weird.
Yeah, that's the headache. Sorry, you're not getting the full brunt of it.
So can we only speak to you, or can we all hear each other?
You can only speak to me, and I had to concentrate real hard to get you to be able to speak to me.
Okay, I'm just gonna whisper then. Jill, that sounds like a great idea, but perhaps save it for if we need to make an escape.
That I can do.
Great. So here's what I'm thinking. If we go up on the deck, it kind of leaves us exposed to causing a lot of noise, a lot of trouble, especially if we get noticed kind of out in the open on the deck. And that leaves whoever's underneath the deck to come up, and then we're kind of screwed. The other option is we find a way into the ship without spending too much time on the deck. However, that does sort of trap us inside of the ship. But ideally, we would be able to find a way to then... Ulman, you used the word while we were in the haunted house, and funnel. That's the word. Sorry, sometimes, translating from orc to common, you get things mixed up. We'd be able to funnel some of the crew members, and we wouldn't get as overwhelmed as easily. But again, trapped inside the ship.
I actually have a quick question. I know what I've heard, that sailors are a real suspicious lot.
Yes.
Correct.
Freak them out?
Oh, like think there's some sort of supernatural something?
Yeah, if the sea's after, then maybe they'll just jump off the ship for us.
I like you taking inspiration from the haunted house. I think it'd be a good idea if we had a way to do that.
Well, if you're looking for something like that, I can think of something.
Jilfa'en, you mentioned the mist.
Yes.
If I went up on one side of the ship and caused a distraction from the mist. Do you think you all would be able to come up from the other side and, well, deal with the sailors?
Well, the other side has a bright blinking light.
And
that
as
we
you
could
as you guys are getting closer, you can see that the majority of these people are kind of standing on the port side of the ship. They don't seem to really be looking at the starboard side.
So you would have to go over to the port side while we are on the starboard side. Are you a strong swimmer, perhaps?
Yeah, probably. I don't swim all that often, but I'm decent at it. What are sailors really afraid of? What sort of creatures of the deep are rumored to prey upon unsuspecting sailors?
There's plenty of them. Of course, I can also think of perhaps some divine inspiration that might be terrifying for sailors.
Can you project your voice?
I can. I can also do some other things as well, make some noises, some sensations that may not be real.
I trust you two, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I can change a little more than my face sometimes. What's the scariest thing I could try to be?
Does Albus know of any scary aquatic things that would have a vaguely humanoid form?
Make a nature or an arcana check.
Arcana would be 20. Nature would be 19.
So you would know that humanoid and aquatic, chances are you are going to be looking at the Sahuagin, which are kind of a... well, to be honest, they look like the cover of the book. Just a very nasty-looking fish man. Very sharp teeth, beady red eyes, these like fins that stick off the side of their face.
Would I be able to use my mind link ability to plant the picture of a Sahuagin into Ulman's mind?
You would have to make to just transport it into Ulman's. That's fine. Yeah, you can do that, no problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ulman, I'm guessing Albus is going to be sending you a picture of a Sahuagin. Very spooky, gross-looking fish guy.
I reach out my hand, and as I do, the joints on my fingers begin to pop and become my hand becomes slightly more scaly, and it travels up my arm, and my face begins to transform a bit, and pretty soon I look like a scary fish man.
Hish takes note of this.
That's a skill.
Both of the people who are rowing your boat just look at you, just...
I promise I'm still me.
They just give 1,000-yard stare. They don't know what to believe anymore right now.
Yeah, Hish.
Sorry. I promise I'm still me.
Hish puts his hands on both of Bronzebeard and Dave's shoulders and just don't think too hard about it, but it's totally fine.
Whatever. We're just going to tell the boss to pay us more. That's all this is.
I'm sure Gellin will be accommodating.
They both just nod, and you hear Bronzebeard, he better be. Just...
I'll treat you to some beers if he isn't.
They both just... Okay. Okay.
See? Friendly. Everything's fine.
Okay, so now that Ulman's a fish person, where do we go from here?
Great question. Is there any kind of way you can You said you can throw your voice, you can sort of make sensations appear.
Yeah, I can make my voice louder. I can do things with flames. I can cause tremors. I can create sounds like rumbles of thunder. I can open windows, close windows, doors. I can change my eyes, but that wouldn't help at this moment.
Make a perception check.
Weird flex, but okay.
You guys can all make perception checks while you're standing up or nearing the side of the ship.
21.
4
Big
plus
big old headache. 5.
14.
3 plus 4, 7.
Okay, so Jilfa'en, because you were the only person with dark vision, you
That's
are...
not true.
Oh yeah, Hish, you have dark vision as well. My bad. You got some salt water in your eye. You're kind of like wiping it out at the moment. But Jilfa'en, you actually see that there is a porthole that is currently closed on the starboard side of the ship that you guys are currently approaching. And you know, you have thaumaturgy, correct? You know that you would be able to open up this porthole with your thaumaturgy spell, offering you a way inside of the ship.
Well, if we're looking for a way in, I think I found one. There's a porthole on the side that I believe I could open. So-
Could you gentlemen take us to the porthole?
And they both nod, and then kind of, with Jilfa'en's directional pointing, they maneuver themselves up. And as you guys get close to the side, you can actually see that on the back side of the ship that there are also 2 open portholes, but they look like they are about 10 feet or so up from, like vertically from where this current porthole is. So you would have to possibly climb to get into those already open ones, or if you just wanted to get your way in through this closed porthole, you'd be able to as well.
All right. So I say we go in through this closed one here. Ideally, per Ulman's plan, we want to scare them off of the ship, and we don't want them to start taking the ship away, and we don't want them to start attacking us right off the bat.
Who's going to be doing the scaring?
I think that's my job on top of the ship.
Galaxy Brain.
Okay.
And Jilfa'en, if you can supplement Ulman's spookiness with other spooky things.
I can do that.
Great. Ulman, then we'll meet you at the top.
Sounds like a plan.
I feel so confident about this plan.
We'll do great. I think we'll all do great. Hish, you're gonna do great. Jilfa'en, you're gonna do great. Albus, you're gonna do especially great.
Dave and Bronzebeard just both look at you, just...
You two, I promise you're gonna do great too.
Okay. Like, still trying to just take in what they've seen.
It's a big Sahuagin grin at them.
Here goes nothing.
All right.
And Hish is going to open the port door.
All right. So make an athletics check
You
to
got
see
it.
yourself into this porthole.
This die is going over here, far away from me. It's a 16 plus 7.
Okay. Yeah, so you managed to open up this porthole, and it looks large enough that you would be able to climb in. You're a pretty big, beefy guy, but kind of squeezing your way into it, it's really no issue to actually be able to get in.
Cool.
And when you get into this room, immediately you hear, as well as the 3 of you that are still outside, just...
Pieces of 8! Pieces of 8!
As Hish, you look over and you see that there is just this macaw parrot currently on a perch that's flapping, looking at you. Just
Pieces of 8!
You do that incredibly well, and it worries me.
Oh, I don't want to.
Pieces of eight.
Hish leans out of the porthole to like pull Jill and Albus in.
Mm-hmm.
And when he pulls them in, can one of you do something about this bird?
Vicious mockery.
Okay. So it's a wisdom save?
I believe so.
All right, that's a 11, which I don't think beats yours. So
Nope. 3 points of psychic damage.
Okay, so you just hear it go, pieces up! And then it slumps off to the side, and with a light thud, you watch as this parrot just falls off of its perch, no longer moving on the ground.
Is that
Albus!
Oh my god, you killed it.
Yeah, that took care of the problem, didn't it?
Okay. So if I look out the porthole we just came out of, how far up is the next porthole?
So the next porthole looks like it would be 10 feet straight up.
Okay.
And the room that you are currently in, there is a plain wooden table that looks like it has a pewter flagon and a pewter mug. And beside the table is a wooden chair that's hanging over, and then hanging over the chair is a hooded lantern, almost like this was somebody's reading corner. And then there was the perch with the parrot that you guys dealt with. And then there is currently also a unaccompanied hammock, and beneath that is a wooden sea chest.
I'm gonna pop open that chest.
Okay. So it is currently unlocked, and it looks like there is a bunch of kind of grubby clothes that don't really have, like, you would know, man, you couldn't even sell these to anybody. Nobody's gonna want to wear these. But you do end up finding that there is a locked iron box. And yeah, it is currently just locked.
Oh, I want to smash it open so bad, but I know that would not be good for being quiet. Wish I had Ulman here.
Waiting on my mist.
Yeah, I'm going to, Jilfa'en's gonna lean out the window and just be like, when did you want to come up?
Can you just, like, bring the mist up with me?
Let me consult my brain. I don't think I can, but I'll...
Fog Cloud is centered on a point, so if you targeted Ulman as the point that the Fog Cloud was centered on, it would stay with him.
Okay. I could put it directly on you, if that's what you want.
Works for me.
Okay, well, here goes. Yeah, and you will have a fog cloud on you now.
All right, and you guys, in this room that you're in, there is a door that is on towards the front of the ship, like in this small room that you're in. But there's also a flight of stairs that lead up. And looking up, you're pretty sure that these stairs would lead you right onto the main deck.
Can I put the iron box in my pocket?
Totally.
Or in my bag?
Yep.
Sweet, I do that. Do we hear like any movement like on this level or like below us or above us?
Make a perception check.
You got it.
In the meantime, I'd like to start climbing.
Oh yeah. Make a athletics check as you begin to climb.
That
Nat
is
20.
Damn.
It's funny because I got a critical failure.
Mark?
Okay.
You're
yeah.
obviously distracted by my beautiful performance that's about to happen.
It's not only the beautiful performance, but like you're trying to like, I wonder if there's anybody moving upstairs, and then you kind of start rattling the treasure that you just found, trying to see if maybe like how many gold pieces are in here. Some people don't lock useless things. But yeah. Jilfa'en and Albus, the two of you can also make perception checks if you would like.
Absolutely.
13?
Oh,
Same hat.
All right. So the two of you, actually can hear, kind of a, it sounds more of like a muffled, just, and it seems to be coming from the back wall. The wall, if you had entered in through the porthole, would be on the right-hand side.
I'm gonna check it out.
Okay. So as you kind of investigate around this wall, you actually find that part of this wall can be removed and is fairly common with a lot of smuggling ships to have these false doors, have these false areas. And as you move apart, or as you move open this kind of sidewall, you see a very cramped room, maybe about 4 feet across. And there is a green-skinned man with seaweed green hair that comes off of his scalp. He has elven-like ears, very nice kind of seafoamy green eyes, but his hands are bound behind his back. He has a gag in his mouth preventing him from speaking, and he looks like he is being most certainly held hostage.
Okay, I will mind link with him. Hello, my name is Albus. Who are you?
Oh my god. Oh my gods, you can... It doesn't matter. I'm Oceanus. Are you here to save me?
I certainly can be. How did you get here?
Well, I came up to the ship to see exactly what was going on. I was sent on a diplomatic mission by the other sea elves to see what it was that was happening. And, well, the lizard folk that they had on board seemed to want to take me with them.
And did they ever say what they were going to do with you?
I have no idea. They've fed me well, at least a little bit. Honestly, I assumed that they were going to be selling me. Once, of course, they reached a certain part.
And you don't want to be sold?
Good heavens, no.
Okay.
The opposite of what I want. I seek freedom.
Well, we can certainly arrange that. Would you, perchance, like to stay with us for a little bit?
If you gave me a sword and freed me, I would fight by your side.
See, the last person that still mind linking with him, the last person that I gave a sword to and freed whenever he was bound and gagged and left in his underwear, stabbed one of my companions with that same sword. You're not going to do that to us, are you?
He sounds like a vicious fiend. What befell of him?
Oh, we killed him.
Justice.
Very easily.
Truly, swift justice was met that day. What did you say your name was again?
My name is Albus.
Albus?
Yes.
I swear on deep Chehalis and all of the other gods of our pantheon.
Oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
That if you saved me, I would owe you a life debt.
I can do something with that. 1 second. Jill?
Yes, Albus?
So do you know what a sea elf? Do you know about sea elves? Because I found one right here, who appears to have been captured and possibly be ready to be sold by some lizard folk who are on board this ship. Would you be accommodating to allow him to stay with us for a little bit?
Do I know about sea elves?
Make a history or a nature check.
Let's see. Oh, they're about the same. Natural 20.
You have most certainly heard of sea elves, mostly through your religious backing. You know that they are, whereas elves are inherently, like cosmically, more of a nomadic kind of people, elves have been found to exist everywhere. And it seems like these elves, who found the deity, this elven sea goddess, Deep Chehalis, were gifted with the ability to live deep underwater. And they function almost in the same way as the Sahuagin do, or the kind of water genasi, any creature that can really live, breathe, have societies underwater. These creatures are able to do so as well. They are still elves. Thankfully, you aren't sure, actually, if this creature speaks Common, Elven, or some other kind of more aquatic language, but Albus's mind link has been able to kind of bridge that gap without any real issue. But you know that sea elves are typically good aligned. They try not to have as much of a role on when it comes to the politics of the land.
Okay. I think taking this into account, she'll be like, well, sea elves are often a good sort. So, depends. How...
I was assuming we were still mind linking.
Okay, and he just says, we are.
Well, and you said he wants to help. Well, I can see where he would want some immediate satisfaction in taking revenge on his captors.
Just very big, dramatic, slow yes.
And I don't suppose we're so unlucky that we would get backstabbed twice. So, why not take a chance, I suppose?
Just behind Albus's back, Mage Hand ungag him. Start untying this stuff.
Okay. So Oceanus is very, very thankful, and he says, "Thank you, thank all of you for what you've done here. I am Oceanus. Albus, who are your friends?"
This is Jill. This is Hish. We do have one other friend who is climbing up the back. He currently looks like a Sahuagin. His name is Ulman.
Vile creatures.
There's also Dave and Bronzebeard. Dave and Bronzebeard are also here too, right? Or
they're business acquaintances.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Do any of you have a weapon for me to use?
Rapier.
Close enough. And he will gladly take the rapier from you. And Ulman, you are currently climbing on the side of the ship, and you manage to get up to the main deck. And as you look out, make a perception check.
15?
Okay, so with a 15, you see that directly on the main deck are about 4 of these kind of small fry bandit looking individuals, and on the aft castle, on the upper deck of this ship, you see that there is this bald-headed individual that you would recognize to be the captain, mostly just because of the way that he carries himself and the way that he kind of barks orders at the other smugglers that are on board. And standing next to him is another individual that seems more akin to a first mate, his bosun, or his bosun. Think it's in a U, and they seem to just be the bosun is currently lifting the lantern, trying to see, like, He's on his last bit. You've seen the rest of this exchange through the lanterns before, but it seems like this is the final shutter of the lantern. Make a stealth check as you creep on board. As this
19.
fog just emanates from you. I'll say roll with advantage as well. 19's pretty good, but
Lower.
okay. So yeah, with your 19, you are able to sneak on board. Nobody seems to have noticed you. Where would you like to position yourself? This boat is about 90 feet long and about 25 feet across.
You imply that there's some stealth here, but I've got some performance to do.
Okay.
As I take my last few handholds up the ship, I make an effort to beat my feet into the ship to make a deep knocking noise, and I slowly climb over the edge, like that sort of horror movie thing where you see the hand finger by finger lay over the side of the ship. And I slowly pull myself up, and as I do, my eye rolls out of socket and falls down my face, and I begin to roar with my perception check. I didn't see anyone who seemed to be of the cloth, did I?
No, you did not.
Great. I began to moan sorrowfully as I clamber over the side, and the toll has not been paid. The toll calls for ye. You on this ship have not paid your toll to the dark goddess of the sea, and she looks for her price. Umberlee is not happy with you, and she has sent me to collect her toll. And I began to pull my knife from my side and grin grimly, and some of the skin from my arm sloughs onto the floor, and I make direct eye contact with the captain.
Make an intimidation check with advantage. I like this. You're spooky as fuck. There's fog just billowing off of you. When you take your knife off of your side, was it hilt? Did it look like it was hilt deep in your side, or was it at a belt?
Oh yes, it was in me.
Oh, gross. That's even better.
That's gonna be 24 for intimidate.
Oh my god. Everyone on board this ship just, oh gods! And then you hear one person even say, I thought you said you paid the sea bitch! And they all they seem to be in a hubbub. Jilfa'en, Albus, and Hish, all three of you begin to hear just shrieks of terror coming from above you. What would you guys like to do?
I can't tell if that's good or bad.
But I believe that's our cue to go join with Ulman, so we should probably make our way expeditiously to the deck.
Verily, I say. Shanus points the rapier towards the stairs.
We were supposed to join him, right? Or were we just supposed to kill everybody from the other side?
What?
I think we're supposed to use the distraction to take care of who we can, and then...
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
To the deck.
Let's go.
All right.
To slowly, zombie, drag myself towards one of the crew members.
Okay. This crew member you see just starts yelling, no, not like this! And he'll jump over the side of the ship, and he will be removing himself from combat, which is where we are going to pick up on next week. So,
Damn it!
I would like to say thank you to everybody who has decided to stop by. We had so many people come out in this Twitch chat, and it was really cool to see. But I would like to say thank you to all of these wonderful players for coming with us on this journey through Saltmarsh once again this week. So, Dingo, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, this session was good. You can find me on Twitter at WheresMyDingus. Tomorrow, you are going to find me on twitch.tv/off_the-table. We are back with a game of Urban Shadows, San Guajona, The Claiming. That's my home channel. We're coming back after a long break. It's very exciting. I get to play a vampire. It's all very, very good. Other than that, you can find me Mondays on twitch.tv/katieface and Tuesdays there as well, playing playing Monster of the Week on Mondays and playing Masks on Tuesdays. And yeah, otherwise you can find me here.
Excellent. Reeves, where can we find you? What do you do?
You can find me on Twitter by ReevesBot, as I am also on most other social media platforms, including Twitch, where I stream every Wednesday and Sunday. Wednesdays, I'm working through my Steam library, 3 games at a time, an hour each, just deciding whether they're worth playing more or never again. And on Sundays, I'm playing through Divinity 2 on Tactician with a group of my friends. We're having a great time. That's 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Otherwise, I'm here on Thursdays playing Ulman Dark.
Yes. And Cyberwolf, where can we find you? What do you do?
Well, first and foremost, you can find me on Twitter at Cyberwolf1201, where I mostly shitpost. But I also talk about whenever I go live on other places, like whenever I play games on twitch.tv/Cyberwolf1201. I play games badly, very badly. But we talk about lore. We finished up the main campaign of Horizon Zero Dawn last week, and we'll be jumping into the DLC for that, the Frozen Wilds, and I'm real excited about it, because that was real fun. That was a lot of juicy world building. Archives of that go to a YouTube that does not have a great URL, but you can find all those gameplay videos. You can also find the podcast that KyleWithAnN and I do called Let's Talk About It, where we get drunk, do a little bit of parkour, and talk about our games and whatever else is on our mind. Whenever I find time to edit episodes and put them up there. Besides that, for role-playing content, you can find me on this channel on today, obviously Thursday, and on Monday, where I play Arjan, the Dragonborn Blood Hunter in the Homebrew campaign. Yeah.
All right, and Kylan, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi everyone, I am Kylan, otherwise known as KyleWithAnN on Twitter and Twitch. Twitter is the best place to get a hold of me. Twitch, I stream on there pretty infrequently. I think I'm going to stream soon. I just picked out a game that I want to play. So look forward to that. Also, in terms of streaming, Mondays you can see me with Dingo on Katie Face's channel playing Monster of the Week. Tuesdays you can catch me on Pro Restarter's channel, twitch.tv/Pro Restarter, playing Monster Hearts. Thursdays you can catch me here. And yeah, of course, Cyberwolf1201 and I do a podcast called Let's Talk About It, which you already got the spiel for. Yeah, that's it for me.
Excellent. And if you have made it this far, you probably already know who I am, but if you don't, hey fella, how's it going? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer. I am the showrunner here at Indoor Adventures, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Monday nights we have our homebrew campaign. Tuesday nights we play Curse of Strahd. Wednesdays we do one-shot Wednesdays, where next week we are going to be playing a Kids on Bikes hack run by Jordan with the PH is Silent of the Forgotten Realms Explained channel called Kids with Wands, which I am very excited for. Cyberwolf has never played Kids with Bikes before, so this is going to be a beautiful experience. You can expect lots of cosplay as... Man, we all got multicolored scarves of the houses. Don't pretend like you don't. You lying if you don't. But And of course, on Thursdays, we have Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which has been an absolutely fantastic time. If you are interested in watching any of our past episodes or possibly listening in, we do have pretty much every URL that we can with /indoor adventures. So, audio, you can find us at anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I already said Anchor, Stitcher, Overcast, anywhere that ends in a cast, you can pretty much find us there. And if you can't, let me know and I'll put us there. We also have our YouTube at youtube.com/indoor adventures, and we also have a Patreon set up. So if you are interested in supporting us on Patreon and getting access to our Discord, as well as access to our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, then you can consider checking us out there. But that is our show for the evening. So once again, I would like to say thank you to these excellent players for letting me take you out onto the spookiest of seas, and thank you to this wonderful audience for stopping by. I really appreciated seeing each and every one of you guys. And without further ado, we'll see you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.